nice hearing about the experiences. Of course, my own state I know, but about Haryana and Goa. Um, and you're very right that there have been experiences and best practices all over the country in various states, and both skill and education, they are important right now. And as very rightly said by Rajiv, that the two are not separate, but very much related to each other. But somehow, in the course of time, we create silos that this is skill, this is education. And it does not start uh, at a level at any other level but in the school itself, because very rightly put by him that by Goa that nobody wants to go in for ITI because of the status difference. So if he's ITI, then you are inferior. If you are arts, then you are inferior. If you are commerce, slightly better. If you're science. So the first thing that NEP has also envisaged, and we really need to work, and we are working in Gujarat a lot on that, is breaking the stream system. And breaking these streams not only in the institutions, but also in the minds of the people. It's in the mind of the society. And that's where we have to hit. So this time what we did that we especially paid a lot of attention to the ITI admissions. And at a district level, we kind of invigorated the teams, and the entire ITI system has now been centralized into one portal, that the student applies for the ITI admission only once. His marks are also validated by the board data. And then the student gives choices. In the first round, if they get ITI of their choice, it's fine. If they don't get, then in the second round, they apply for the other ITIs. So this way, we are trying to also understand through the market dynamics as to which ITIs are not doing well. If some course doesn't pick up and it does not get admission, then it's better to leave that, and it's better to remove that particular ITI from that list. So this exercise also, last year we did remove, reduce, and improve. So these three things we did, that wherever the courses were not getting registered, they were not getting students, we just removed them. And where they were getting less students, we reduced them. And wherever the ITIs were doing good and they wanted to do better, we improved their intake. So that we did, and we also worked on the courses, because the courses are given by NCVT and GCVT, but we can always add. So that is one exercise that we took, and hopefully it will pay us in the future. Another thing that I think needs to be done, this is of course my personal thought, and this is what I've been experiencing after so many years into this sector, is that we start thinking about career choices at 12th level. But 2 years we waste for the students, 11th and 12th. And in the 11th and 12th, we make them, kind of type them. You're a science student, art student, commerce student. What we need to do probably is that if a student is, again, this is going to be an experiment. Of course, we're trying that experiment in several cases, like in computer applications, IT, we are trying that. And in some other also streams, we are trying that. So what we probably need to do is that if a student has to become a doctor, then maybe for 2 years, instead of studying biology, chemistry, physics, biochemistry, bio and chemistry is important for a doctor. So we have to build that foundation. So only let the students study biology and chemistry, but along with that, give them some skills of 1 year or so, so that at least they can work as a general duty assistant, if not anything else. Right now, what happens, either you become a doctor or you are off the medicine and health field. So these students, if they are given the basic skill programs into health and medicine, so every 2-year program, 10+ program, becomes a kind of school plus a diploma. So the 12th student has 2 years of school plus a diploma. And that diploma is the skill component in the schooling. And that also decides, because in these 2 years, a student will come to know whether I have to continue in this field or not. So it's a kind of exposure to that. So if you like medicine, it's fine. If you like technical thing, it's fine. Then you continue with that. Now they do after 5 years. You complete your BE, BTech, and then you realize, no, 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 the mechanics is not for me. I'm not going to work on the shop floor. I am going to go into the management side. So by that time, we are wasting not only the resources of the country, but we are also wasting the precious time of the student. And maybe we can build on a lot of skills at the time of at these 2 + 3 years. So 3 years, of course, a lot of, 10 + 2 general stream students are produced. Arts and commerce students, if you ask these BA, BCom students, many of those, what are you going to do? They are just clueless about where they are heading. And what jobs do we have at the end of 3 years of BA? They don't know. Even if they have studied history and if they have to become a kind of a critic or art historian or even a guide, they don't have the skills because they have not learned communication along with history. If they have to write an article on any of the, say, historic personalities or any premises or anything, then they cannot do that because they have not developed writing skills. Now, if you are a student of history and if you're going to take up a job related to history, it's bound to be there that either you should have a communication skill or you should have writing skill. Otherwise, what you do with that history? Other than, there is another reason why you need history. But then, that will not be a very systematic and long study of history. So, for example, an engineer takes a course in history. So that will be to develop a perspective of how things have happened in the past, so that you learn from that. So that is also a very important reason why students study history. And the fact of the matter is that 12th student doesn't know why he's studying history. I came to know myself at a very later stage why history is needed. I always used to crib. Why history? At very later point in life, I realized the importance of history. I realized what history does to you. History helps you in understanding the mistakes the past has made so that you don't repeat the mistakes. What you learn from World War I, what you learn from World War II, when you go to Germany, when you go to East Europe, what you learn there about that is that don't repeat these mistakes. When you realize what has been done in the past, or you do better. That this has been done in the past, it gave good results, so it can be improved. So what the education system has to accordingly improve and be more in line with what our career aspirations has to be. Just before this session, we had this session on finance, and where somebody spoke about the changing, dynamic society, how society is changing towards technology, emerging technology, robotics, AI, and all that. This society is bound to change because of technology. And it is not that this is only in the recent times. It has to go in some direction. And technology is going to be that direction. So at every 20, 25 years, a big change comes. So you got internet, or you got computers, and then came the internet and all that. And a generation changes. So you have the baby boomers, you have the Gen X, you have millennials, and now you have Zoomers. So, and if you realize it, there is a great difference in thinking of Zoomers and millennials. You can make out. So that is because of the natural evolution changes. So changes are going to happen. And the beauty of humanity is not in competing with those, but in changing ourselves along with that. So we also change along with that. So it's not that our need is not going to remain, but the skill profile will change. So now something that was being done by gradually the things that are being done by us and which are less productive and which can be done better by the machines will be taking over. But then we always find out things for artificial intelligence, for other areas, because everything that replaces jobs also creates jobs. Take the example of artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence is rather creating jobs because of the enormous amount of analysis it's throwing up, enormous amounts of demands on the market it is throwing up. So now you have to think in a different direction. You have to plan algorithms. You have to plan your strategy according to that. So, but different kind of jobs, different kind of skills. So we have to be very, very abreast with the requirements. But what happens is that by the time we gear up our system in those skills, the world moves forward. And that's always going to be there. So thinking ahead in the future, it's required. But then, you know, as always happens in the government system and in the society also, that by the time we move forward, the thing changes. And everything has a time lag of something like 4 to 5 years, which is enough for the change to kind of proceed on to the other thing. So what we need to now focus on is on the dynamism, the dynamic nature of these skills, and creating institutions and creating the educational, and I would say ITI is also a kind of education system. So creating an educational system which immediately responds to these changes, rather than waiting for everything up and अब वो ऊपर बताएगा, फिर वो ऊपर बताएगा, फिर वहाँ से अप्रूवल आएगा, फिर नीचे तक आते आते और इम्प्लीमेंट होते होते वो खत्म हो जाएगा, उसकी रेलेवेंस खत्म हो जाएगी, समथिंग विल टेक ओवर. So what we are doing now is we are giving a lot of focus on tech and basically tech. And as you know, Gujarat has done very good in manufacturing sector. So manufacturing sector apart, we are now the growth of the current economies or the society is now going to be predominantly in the service sector. So the rate of increase in the service sector is very high, and lot of jobs, service sector offer a lot of potential for jobs. And every manufacturing sector also needs a service sector. And if you create a lot of time for people and if you give a lot of purchasing power in their hand, hospitality, tourism, everything increases. So the way hospitality and tourism has increased in the past 10 years, we all know that. So service sector is bound to be there. And IT is very important. Now, what we are realizing is that IT is not getting the kind of manpower it wants. And if IT does not get the kind of manpower it wants, we as a nation lag behind, because we will not be able to cope up as we are currently doing now also, because a lot of our talent goes to US, because the better ones, they don't get opportunities here, and the lower ones we are not able to train into providing these kind of services. So we have to have a lot of IT related manpower, and probably each and every citizen, each and every youth of the country will have to be given some or the basic exposure in IT, a little more advanced exposure in IT, and more exposure in IT. And it has to be in a way that it is dynamic. You cannot limit them to silos. You cannot confine them in silos. So a lot of things have to be, see, right now we're talking of blockchain, right now we're talking of machine learning and all that. Some more terms will come up in the next 5 years. Some more terms will come in another 5 years. So our system should be ready to change. Another thing, I think he was talking, Ravi was talking, was of new age courses. So what we have done is that we have started a scheme this year. We have launched a scheme, Mukhyamantri Bhavishya Rakshi Yojana. So we have taken 51 futuristic courses, including most of the advancements in various sectors. So if it is welding, then robotic welding. If it is design, so 3D based design. If it is a kind of manufacturing, so you have 3D printing. So we have all cloud, artificial intelligence, machine learning and all that. And we are offering these courses to colleges also. One important thing that we have taken is drones this time. And right now I can say that probably in drone courses, we are maybe most ahead of all these states. You are also doing it, started. Yeah, you started after that, after us. So So there's a huge waiting for that. So 50 ITIs now we are gearing up. Okay, that's very good. So we are now getting into training youth into drones, flying drones, servicing drones, because suddenly drones will come and you will not know अब क्या करें किसी के पास license नहीं है. And such small changes are required, and it's not just like that कि किसी ने कह दिया कि ड्रोन का कोर्स चालू कर दो तो ड्रोन का कोर्स चालू हो जाएगा. Everything has to be very detailed. Lot of detailing has to go into it. So we are putting a lot of focus on drones, and we are planning to have 20,000 drone youth trained in drone technology, drone flying, servicing, maintenance, and blah, blah, blah in the next 2 years. So, and emerging technologies. So all that we are taking up. So what I'll just sum up here is that skill is going to be, it has always been and it's going to be the topmost agenda in the coming days, because if you are not skilled, you are of no use. Some or the other skill you will need to be of use to the society. If you do not skill the youth, then you be ready to pay, or you be ready to face a lot of crime in the society, a lot of disorder in the society, a lot of restlessness in the society. Because if they don't earn, then they will be doing all kind of things which are unwanted, unsocial, unpleasant. So we have a demographic dividend and we have to utilize it well, including exporting our manpower to the other states. And we just have to identify the right opportunities. We, as a state here in education and skill, we are trying to channelize, and as he said very well, that it is more of a radial system now. Okay, education is more of a radial system. ITI से अंदर लाओ, स्कूल से अंदर लाओ, वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग से अंदर लाओ, डिप्लोमा से अंदर लाओ, स्टार्टअप और इनोवेशन से उसको कवर करो. तो अलग अलग तरीके से we'll have to bring them into स्किलिंग, स्किल ऑफ सम सॉर्ट और द अदर. एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल मैं एक इनोवेशन का देना चाहूँगी जो हमने अभी शुरू किया है. तो कौशल्या स्किल यूनिवर्सिटी वी हैव क्रिएटेड, लाइक almost all the university states now have a skill university. So what we've done is that all courses will be apprenticeship embedded. So at least 1 year they will do on the job. So we have started a course with ArcelorMittal in Surat. Now, they are offering a BSc Steel Technology course. So, they take diploma students who have done 2-year diploma. Actually, it's a 3-year diploma. But they give admission to 2 years also and 3 years also, either in first year or second year. Then, the course has been designed in such a way, 4-month teaching, 2 months on the job. 4 months teaching, 2 months on the job, 2 months teaching, 4 months on the job. Gradually, on the job content increases and the teaching content, classroom teaching content reduces. So they are giving them job on day 1 when they are entering the institution. So diploma students, they are selecting mechanical. Diploma students, they are select mechanical and electrical. They pick up students, so 200 students they are picking up every year. They pick them up, they start paying them, but not at that level, but they start paying them the basic stipend and the basic living, basically stipend. And they are giving them free residence, free food and everything, and 3-year training. And this is a BSc Steel Technology course. So somebody said, I think he said that, you are not left behind just because you are getting skilled. You are still in the mainstream. So once you do your BSc Steel Technology, you do a postgraduate diploma, and after that we offer a PhD. So you can still do a research in steel technology, welding, or related electrical and mechanical area. Similarly, we are doing this for green energy. So we've started a course in BSc in green energy. Now green energy including hydrogen energy, solar to hai hi, or water, hydro and all that. So all that is coming up. So this 3 years will be again on the same pattern, and they will be absorbed into the company. If they pass and if they fail, then they will be left out. So the thing is that we have to provide opportunity, and we have to provide opportunity in a way that it makes sense. See, a student's mind is very, very, what I would say, not raw, but again, they're wary of things. If you offer them something innovative, they're not going to jump on that opportunity. You may understand that it's such a good opportunity for them, why are they not coming up? But they have to get convinced that yes, if I'm spending 3 years here, I'll get something out of it. So it is difficult to convince students because we as parents also know that when we have to send our children somewhere, then we have to look at various aspects. So we have to be very consistent in our approach and very future oriented and quality. Unless we offer quality, things are not going to stay and we will not be stay in the world market. On the world map, if we have to make our name, and we have to stick to quality and this mediocrity or inferior quality systems.